If I can't get you in to win. And good luck from Kicks Country 92.9. Hopefully you've already done that, though. In the meantime, we've got some business to attend to. Our typical and ordinary Wednesday morning business includes a lot of fun stuff and some conversation that's very informative. It's a segment we call Ask the Lawyer with Bruce L. Scheiner, attorney for the injured, who I have on the phone with me again today. We'll see if your question gets answered here momentarily and also tell you how to get a question in if you have a question about the law in just a moment as well. But first, would you help me welcome Bruce L. Scheiner, attorney for the injured. Good morning, Bruce.
Hey, good morning, Todd. How you doing this beautiful morning?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
Well, sad to say, or I should say happy to say, but I'm just recovering from my first bout with COVID.
Oh, my. All this time that has gone by, and you finally succumbed, huh?
Yeah, I was vaccinated twice, and I had the booster, and I wore a mask, and, somewhere along the line, I must have let my guard down because I came down with COVID, and I'll tell you what, it's a horrible experience.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to date you or anything along those lines, but you're in an age category in which it's said to be a lot more severe and serious. Was it more difficult, you supposed, to recover?
Well, the fortunate thing is I have a good friend who's a pulmonologist, and he was able to get me a prescription of what's called Paxlovid. Paxlovid is one of those new antiviral pills.
Oh.
You take 3 pills twice a day for 5 days, and I think that helped tremendously speed my recovery.
Well, I am definitely sorry to hear that. We are definitely relieved to hear that you're on the mend and feeling better, and I hope this isn't the sign of things to come, and there's talk about new strains and so forth.
I'm very concerned because I've been out of the office since for about a week. And PJ just told me that 2 of our employees came down with COVID.
Oh, boy.
Since I did, and unfortunately, my wife came down with COVID. So everybody better be on guard because I think we're about to see a renewal of COVID.
Yeah, I'm afraid this is going to be the story. This is life in the age of COVID, and I think eventually almost all of us are going to get it. So, Bruce, again, glad to hear that you're certainly getting better.
Thank you very much.
Now, if you're up to it, I'd like to present today's question and get a little feedback from you. Is that all right?
I'd love to help.
Yeah, might as well keep active in your downtime, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here's what the email says. My nephew was riding down State Road 776 on his motorcycle when he was struck crossing an intersection. The delivery vehicle that struck him ran a red light, but claimed that he couldn't see the light or my nephew due to the fog. We've had some foggy days lately, mornings in particular, and thus he claims he is not liable. The fog was heavy, but it didn't seem right that he claimed not to be responsible. My nephew only has minimum insurance, and he is still in the hospital with very severe injuries to his legs. Can you ask the lawyer what we should do? Okay, Bruce, Mother Nature running afoul of this motorcycle rider, what would you recommend?
Well, the first thing I recommend is immediately contact an experienced personal injury lawyer. One of the foremost things about driving is you can't outdrive your field of vision, which means that if you can't see, you can't go. You can't, just say, well, it's too bad I can't see, but I got to go to work, so I'm just going to go down the highway at my normal rate of speed or, plow through a red light. That truck is responsible for this poor motorcycle's injuries. Fortunately, it sounds like because it's a delivery truck, there's probably good insurance there, and this person will be taken care of. But, it's like sometimes we get calls about, the sun was in someone's eyes and they struck somebody. it's the same type of thing. You're responsible for where you go, and you have to be able to see, and you can't outdrive your field of vision.
Okay. So if the fog is so heavy to the point where you can't see in front of your vehicle, or for that matter, and we're going to enter the rainy season here pretty quickly, the rain is coming down so hard you can't see well enough, legally, you're supposed to pull over and sit it out.
Yes, sir. Or, I mean, if it's that bad, that's what you have to do. But, a lot of times you could greatly reduce your speed so you still are able to see far enough ahead in order to go. But if you can't see, you can't go.
And you have to adjust your driving to the conditions at hand.
Well said, Todd.
Oh, thank you. I may have a future in this business after all. Well, Bruce, that sounds like there is some help. I mean, because first of all, the denial that there's responsibility here, I'm sure was very unnerving to the victim and his family. Knowing that there is responsibility has got to be a big help. So like you say, the next step is get a legal professional to take a look at the situation.
Yeah, and that's a good example of why you should always immediately contact an experienced personal injury lawyer, because companies and insurance companies love to say we're not responsible, even though it's clear that they are.
Right. Because how often do people say, oh, well, they're not responsible? They're not responsible. I guess I got to pay out of pocket and walk away. And that's a shame, but it does happen.
Right.
All right, Bruce. Well, listen, please take care of yourself. Take care of the missus and check on the office crew as well for us. And please pass along our well wishes for speedy recovery.
Thank you very much, Todd.
All right, sir. And have a good rest of the day. We'll talk to you next week if you're feeling all okay and up to it.
I'm looking forward to it. Take care.
Okay, thanks now. Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up again for, and what a trooper, too. Bruce L. Scheiner, attorney for the injured, recovering from COVID, and still willing to give us his legal thoughts on the matter. Now, if you would like to submit a question for future consideration, all you have to do is go to the website and enter the keyword Bruce in the search box. You'll get where you need to go. If you have a pressing situation like this one we just told you about, you really should contact somebody quickly. Call the Port Charlotte office of Associates and Bruce L. Scheiner at 941-743-7777. 941-743-7777. And tell them that Todd sent you from Kicks Country 92.9.